Here's a song I recorded with a band called Puddle of Mud. Well, I guess they were just playing here in town recently, if anybody's a fan of this. This song is, this was a situation where I got called at the last minute. I might have even got called that day. And they wanted to go and suddenly record this song. And the producer, Brian Howes, real successful songwriter, producer from Canada, and the band didn't get there in time, so we started to march along anyway. So he plays me the song on acoustic guitar, and I start doing typically, I'm listening, I'm trying to get it's like I'm an actor in a movie. I'm trying to figure out what movie am I in here? Is this heavy rock, pop rock? I mean, what are we doing? What are you thinking? So I start writing down what I think are the right beats for the verse, the chorus, the different sections. I haven't played again. I'm like, okay, and I said, well, what do you think of this feel? He says, yeah, I think that's going to be good. Went back and forth. Then I start recording. He's in the control room, no vocals, just him playing guitar. So I've only heard him sing the song, and you're going to hear the full production. But basically, they built the whole song around my drum parts, which is very risky because, the band comes in and goes, yeah, the tempo's not right, I don't really like the drum sound, have them come back, and then I'm booked and doing something else, which is typical, and then I'm not on the song. I mean, this song went to #1, and and I remember I did different takes. I was done in 3 hours, learning it, getting sounds, recording it, see it. Then the band came in and, did their thing. The thing that's, it's high. I'm not pressured, but it is definitely, I'm used to it. I've been doing it so long. I'm used to, it's like being you get good at anything if you do it long enough and over again, and you pay attention and you try to get better. I'm not a genius. I'm just become an expert at what I do. So, but, you don't want to waste any time, and there's a time restraint. You just want to, you go after it. And so some takes I gave more fills and more craziness, but they ended up picking the much more straight ahead stuff because it was geared toward radio. And the producer was more radio pop oriented type guy. Especially in the bridge, I went way crazy like Keith Moon, and they didn't ever use that stuff. Just to give you kind of an interesting perspective on how I attack. A lot of times I'll give more, but then I'll say, well, maybe I better give some more straight ahead takes. And in this case, that's what they used. But there's a couple of things that I did, and this happens, this is what comes from experience. Okay, the first job for me is to pick the right beats for the song, the right feel for the song, the right equipment for the song, and I got to get that fast. The next thing I'm doing is I'm reading this stuff, not to the detail I have here, but I'm reading it and I'm thinking, don't make it sound like you're reading. So I do this thing where I step outside of my body. My brain is going from, it's many segments in my brain working all at once. I'm going with reading music, don't sound like you're reading music, click track, feel, listen to the guitar player. Do you remember what the vocal's doing? What is the basic vibe of this song? What movie are you in? Are you playing the part right? Should you lean more? Should you play the middle beat? Should you come back? What about the verse? Back to the click track, back to how's your bass drum? Relax your kick, don't speed up. And now my brain's going non-stop, all over the place, going through all these different segments that I keep adding more and more every year. It's just like my brain it knows what to concentrate on at a split second, like a computer. Something like I'll be playing with somebody and something triggers me, be careful, you got to be careful, he's rushing. What do? A deal with that, either pull him back in or go with him. All right, go back to the song, where you are in the song, go back to your bass drum, snare drum. I'm moving through non-stop like that. Which, believe it or not, it sounds psycho, but it feels natural to me now. So in this case, what happens is that I'm going through all this stuff, and I get to the point where I'm maybe in my 5th take, and I'm going, right there, I'm bored. Song needs something, but there's nobody there to discuss it. It's all me. And the part I'm talking about right now is at the end of the song, where you've been doing this beat over and over again for the chorus. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of getting bored of this thing. So I came up with this idea. It's very simple, but it helped. I told the producer, listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go into halftime, but you keep playing in regular time. It popped in my head. He keeps playing in regular time. You know, I want to be famous, da 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 da. I can't sing it worth a damn, but that's it. While they keep playing in regular time. It's a simple idea, but it added a lot to the song. And when you hear back that the CEO of the record label thought that was cool, then you know you did the right thing. And another little thing I thought was like, I thought, well, how do you start this thing? And I went, it's so typical, the same, boom, blam. And if you do something too fancy, that's not cool. So I came up with this idea, this one little idea. It's a simple idea. I'd never done it before, but it just popped in my head. Where you go, your typical 1, 2, 3, and 4, do blah, but then added another beat, like 1, 2, 3, do blah, do da, do boo. So it's almost like 9/8. It is 9/8. You're going 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and see what I'm saying? Well, you'll hear these things when it goes down. That's part of being creative within the structure of beat, time, groove, without disrupting the song. I was just discussing this with somebody else earlier today about a Mellencamp song that took a long time to come up with this beat. Where I learned this skill is John Mellencamp when I played with him for 17 years, he used to play a song on acoustic guitar, and then I would have to come up with a beat for the song. Now that gets difficult when you get into your 9th album with the guy, and even he admits that every song sounds the same. It's like, geez, what do I do now? It's hard to be creative, simple, with simple ideas. Anyway, this is called Famous.